And we're live. Just gonna refresh my other screen real quick. How is everyone doing? Today I am joined by the lovely Megan to my bottom. That sounds so weird. to the lower half of. No, I'm done. I'm just gonna stop right there. Megan is in the window underneath me. There we go. And you know what? Oh my gosh. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So I know that Amy is still doing her trivia, and we have, I think, Most Talk is live. Most Talk, not Most Talk. Tom does Disney, I think, is his name. Anyways, he's live, and hey, Amy, welcome in. He's live in Hollywood Studios, I think. So, all right, we got a couple people in chat. Let's just go through chat real quick as people start coming in. Mike Wheeler is first. My old faithful right there. I love when he types in first because it's kind of like you know you've made it when Mike Wheeler says first in your chat. I mean, that's all that matters to me. Russ Stapleton, welcome in. Amy, welcome in. And Amy's done with trivia. Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. But first, I got a package yesterday, and I just wanted to showcase it real quick. And I don't think that they're watching because I think they're in Epcot today. But Stacy from the Disney Nerd Herders sent me a package. I had commissioned Kago of So Kago to make her a pair of ears for her trip, and she made these adorable snack ears. And so she sent them to over to Stacy from Disney Nerd Herders, and Stacy sent me a thank you package. And Stacy, if you watch this back, or if you're watching now, you are amazing. You did not have to do that. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated. But I have to show this little card off. It's just, oh my gosh. This is so cute. Oops. And the little card that was inside of it. I love this. Now, I do want to know, because this is like, I feel like this is Avery style. So I'm wondering if Avery drew this because Avery is very talented. Join the herd. So if you don't know Disney Nerd Herders, go check them out. If one of the mods could put the link in the chat, it would be great. But they're live. They're going to be going live periodically from wherever they are in Disney World this week, and I think maybe for the next 2 weeks. I think they went down for. They sent over this cute little shufflers. Is that what these are called? And it's Mickey, and I guess you wind it up and it moves. It walks. It's the cutest thing. They sent over these. Did I put them back? I'll show these off first. Little Jungle Book squishy figures. There was more of them, but my kids confiscated them. But I would not let them have Blue. Can't have Blue. In fact, they're gonna sit in Gryffindor Tower today. Hey guys, we're Gryffindors. And then they sent over a bunch of little Tsum-Tsums. So there's Snow White, and then there's Dopey, and then I got a bunch others, and my kids just confiscated them and took them. And then Christmas window decals. They were so adorable. I absolutely love them. I put those downstairs in the Christmas box so that they don't get lost. So thank you so much, Stacy, Charlie, Disney Nerd Herders. Thank you guys so much. Definitely was not expected, but so appreciated. Thank you. Mwah. All right. Want to talk Harry Potter?
Let's do it.
Okay, so today we're going to talk Harry Potter in the Order of the Phoenix. I love this book. I don't know about you, Megan, but I feel like this is a love-hate relationship because so much is happening in this book. The movies leave so much out, but we already know that. The movies leave so much out of all the books. But this one especially because we're going to get into it. All right. I'm going to start off with a couple. I'm going to come to my window. Come to my window. I'm not going to sing. I promise. Anymore, I won't sing. So we're going to start off the beginning of the book. Dudley's gang of friends is not with him. So in the movie, it sets the scene where it's hot out. There's Petunia, and she's like baking in her hot house, and her kids are outside. Harry is sitting in a park, and there's a bunch of kids, and Dudley's there with his gang of friends. But in the book, Dudley's gang of friends is not with him when Harry confronts Dudley. They left to go home. So Dudley's friends leave, and then Harry confronts Dudley, and all this wonderful stuff happens. After the Dementor attack, Mrs. Figg explains to Harry that Mundungus Fletcher was supposed to be on watch duty, making this the first mention and later the first appearance of Mundungus in the series. And I also think I saw somewhere, and I think I remember this, where Mundungus is also stated in the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is where I think is his real first appearance. Hey, Michelle the Quilter, welcome in. That's just my best educated guess, I think. But I'm going to go through a couple more, and then Megan, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion. Excuse me. After the Dementor, I already read that part. Okay, we're getting on track here. In the book, after Harry explains how Dudley was attacked by a Dementor, and Vernon asks what that is, Petunia blurts out the explanation. Now, in the movie, you don't get this because they don't give any appearance whatsoever to the fact that Petunia knows anything about the Wizarding world, especially Dementors. So, in the book, it led to Harry and Vernon both wondering how she knows this. And then she explains that a long time ago, that horrible boy, aka Severus Snape, explained about them back when he was friends with Lily Potter when they were younger. So then leading up to, so what Harry does is he performs the Patronus charm to protect himself and Dudley, which sends Dudley into like a complete mental coma because the Dementors, they suck the life out of you. They suck all the joy. And so he basically turns his brain to mush. And so they come home, and you're not supposed to use magic outside of school, number one. So he performed a spell. Doesn't matter the circumstances, Harry's in trouble. He gets home, and he gets four letters. In the movie, it only shows he gets one, and it's from Mafalda Hopkirk, and basically telling him that he's been expelled. Well, in the book, he gets 3 more letters after that. The second is from Arthur Weasley telling Harry that Dumbledore arrived at the Ministry and is trying to sort everything out, and to not leave his aunt and uncle's house, and to not do any more magic, and to not surrender his wand. The third letter is from Mafalda Hopkirk telling Harry that the Ministry instead decided Harry may retain his wand until the hearing, at which time an official decision would be taken, and that the Ministry has agreed, and that the question of his expulsion would also be decided at the time, so he should therefore consider himself just suspended, pending further inquiries. And then the fourth letter, Sirius Black, saying Arthur Weasley has informed him and everyone else of what happened, and that whatever Harry does, he should not leave the house. I really wish, like, when I was reading this book, and all these letters were coming in, I just thought it was absolutely, like, I don't know, I love the visuals that you get, I think they're just absolutely fantastic. And I really would have liked to have seen the letters coming in one after the other. After Harry reads one, he gets another one. After Harry reads another one, he gets the third. You know what I mean? I would have loved to see that in the movie. But Megan, I want to get to you. Some thoughts.
What I like about that scene is in the book, with all the letters coming in, his uncle just gets physically madder and madder as each bird comes in because he doesn't want anything to do with the magic.
Yep.
And in the movie, there's not a bunch of letters coming in and in, so you don't see him getting angry and angrier at each letter as it comes in.
Right.
So that's what I like about that scene, because it shows like just how much he doesn't want anything to do with it.
Right. Right. I agree. So Russ says, "How do I order a phoenix? Is that what this is about?" Yes, that's what this is about. You order a phoenix through the magical. I have no idea. No, this isn't. This is Russ. You kill me. I have nothing witty to say in response to that. I got nothing. I've rendered speechless. All right. So shall we go on?
Yeah.
Was there anything else that you want to say from the beginning of the book?
Not really. You kind of just hit the nail on the head with what I thought about it.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay. Sounds good. I do. Oh, something I do want to say. I do love how they set like the beginning of the movie up. I love how they set it because it almost looks like it's like a desolate playground, and it drains all of the joy from you. Like just the way it starts off, and it kind of paves the way for um, the scene with the Dementors and stuff. So I just wanted to note that I really enjoyed that in the movie. So that's one perk. All right, so after these 4 letters and the angry expressions of Vernon Dudley, Petunia receives a holler saying, from Dumbledore, saying, "Remember my last, Petunia," reminding her of the letter he wrote to her about 14 years ago. And that was the letter. And in that letter, Megan, do you remember what it said in that letter?
I can't remember exactly what it said. I do remember that it explained what happened to Harry and his parents, and I honestly kind of think that there was something in it where Dumbledore kind of told her, like, if you don't take care of him, if you like kick him out of the house or something, then I'm not sure what he said, but he did say something along the lines of something is going to happen if you like don't take him in and if he's not in your care.
Russ says, "Tina, you know I'm ignorant about Harry Potter." I know, Russ. I like to ruffle your feathers. It's a wizardry text messages. It's like wizardry text messages. Yeah, I like that. See, you can come up with better quips not knowing anything about the series than I could. So, yeah, so basically what it was is Harry's under protection living with the Dursleys. There's a spell that was cast over them, and until he turns of age at 17, he's under the protection of it's like a magical protection or something that protects him from Voldemort in case anything happens. If he's ever kicked out of the house, he can leave the house. But if he's ever like verbally kicked out of the house, verbally, but if he gets kicked out, when he moves elsewhere, it gets broken. And it's really needed. It's very important for him to have that over him because I think it was also like symbolism for his Harry's mother that, excuse me, when she died protecting him, she, I guess, left that protection over him. Don't quote me on it. I should have thought that one through, but looked it up more. But anyways, so getting back on track. So then you have the movie follows as well as the book, where they come and collect Harry. The advance guard arrives to remove Harry from Little Whinging several days after the Dementors attack. Unlike in the movie where they arrive soon after. So I mean, even though the movie doesn't really show how many days have passed, I think you get the point. It's not obviously right away, but Tonks creates a fake competition to get the Dursleys out of the house. That is not mentioned in the movies. I think it was they were taking Dudley to the hospital because he got so sick over the Dementors. I think is what was happening. So yeah, I guess in the movies it does show that it's right away. Now that I think of it, open mouth, insert foot. Oh, let's see. So, all right, Tonks. I really talk about Tonks because this is something I really like Tonks' character. It's I think she's got a cool thing going on. She's metamorphagus. I can never pronounce this word. Um, which is like a animagus, but or animagus, but she can transform into many different things, which isn't really mentioned in the film. Despite her clear ability to change color, hair color, and physiognomic traits, her powers are never given a name. She also has a much more close relationship with Harry and his friends in the books, given that she's just a few years older than them. Also, in the book, her main hair color is bubblegum pink, but in the film, it's switched to purple and stays that way throughout the film. In the book, she uses her ability to go undetected as a protection to Harry and the gang. So some of those things they probably could have elaborated on with uh, Tonks. I was looking at Nymphadora and I was like, wait, which nickname is it? No, wait, it's none of those. It's Tonks. Um, and so I just really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the character development in the later series, like with her and Remus Lupin, which Remus Lupin is one of my favorite characters. Um, might be my favorite character. The twins are my favorite twins. Obviously, they're the only twins, but I really like Remus Lupin. But anyways, so the lineup when they come to pick up Harry is different than it is in the movie than it is in the book. In the book, it's Remus Lupin, Daedalus Diggle, Sturgis Podmore, Hester Jones, in addition to Alistair Moody Kingsley, Nymphadora Talks, um, Alpheus Dodge, and Emmeline Vance. Um, so they cut that down, and I mean, if you're gonna exclude anybody, I don't care that you're gonna exclude excuse me, anybody from the movies. Don't exclude Remus Lupin because he was such a big part of the third the third book and movie. He's definitely should have been up there. Hold on one second. Megan,
Yeah,
you want to say while I'm hacking up a lung? Hold on.
Remus was also like one of Harry's like father figures, and with him not really included that much, it doesn't show how much Harry looks up to him and trusts him as an adult figure in his life. So I really would have liked to see more of Remus Lupin in the movies because he was just such a big part of Harry's life.
All right, let's get to chat. Sorry, thank you, Megan, for taking the helm for me.
You're welcome.
Hey, Tracy, welcome in. Tracy says he's a Harry Potter nerd too. All right, prove it. We're gonna find out next week when we do Order of the Phoenix trivia. Just how good Tracy is. Let's continue on. So, all right, here's another big thing for me. The storyline about Bill Weasley moving back to England to be closer with his family and his new position in Gringotts and in the Order of the Phoenix, and Charlie Weasley being in charge of recruiting foreign wizards to the Order has been omitted from the movie. That drove me nuts. I love that part. You just especially because in the movie, the Weasley family, you're seeing a couple of things happen. You're seeing in the book, I mean, you're having the Weasley, Charlie and Bill coming together to be, to get closer and be a part of this, and Percy Weasley is moving away from because he's very getting into, standing with the ministry, which is not explained in the movies. There's no mention of him disowning his family when he chose to support the ministry. This creates a large plot hole in the film due to his disposition towards Harry being unexplained, making it confusing for the viewers who did not read the book, which it was completely. When I went back and read the books, and I was like, oh, that wasn't in the movie. But I just, it shows that divide between the Weasley family, where you got the two older brothers who you don't really get to see often at all, coming back into the picture, and then you got Percy that's moving out of the picture. Just something that I thought was a pretty big thing. I don't know. What do you think, Megan?
Yeah, I definitely would have loved to see more of the older Weasley kids because, I mean, just Bill, he's just a really cool guy in general. Like, he's kind of laid back. He, in the fourth book, when they go to the World Cup, he's kind of there laughing with Harry and his brothers and his sister. And Bill is kind of just always there for his family. Charlie, I love Charlie. I if I was in the Wizarding World, I would be a dragon handler too. Like, me and Charlie would get along so well. And I definitely would have loved to see Percy's character arc in the movies
Yeah.
because that would, I mean, it's amazing to read it in the book, but to watch it would have been so much fun.
Yeah, and you really don't get too much of Percy until the last book and
No.
movie, and you get a very tiny glimpse, and we'll get into that, in the future, the books.
Yeah, and in the movies, they really don't show him like the books did, like being a workaholic, and how it kind of, even in the first book, kind of just leads up to him just siding with the Ministry. And
Right.
it would have been really cool to see that in the movies.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry, I keep smirking because I keep looking at chat, and my friends are just hilarious. Russ says, I'm not an Among Us. You're in Among Us. Stop calling people names, Tina. I swear, honestly. All right, so I'm gonna move on to the next part. Now we have, so in the novel, Harry yells at Ron and Hermione about everything. So Harry gets to 12 Grimmauld Place, and in the movie, you can see that he's really agitated because he's been kept out of the dock, out of a lot of things. He's questioning, his role in Dumbledore, and he's just, I think he's got Voldemort in his head, first of all, so I think he's just being attacked in his brain about, he's got anger, he's got bitterness, he's salty, and he's not holding back. But in the novel, Harry yells at Ron and Hermione about everything he has done when they mentioned Dumbledore and told them about not telling Harry anything, so he scolds them for that. And then he mentions saving the Sorcerer's Stone, killing the Basilisk, fighting the Dementors in the third year, getting through the maze, fighting off Voldemort. In the film, he does not yell, and his rant is restricted to one single line. I'm the one who saw Voldemort return. I'm the one who fought him. I'm the one who saw Cedric Diggory get killed. It's basically what it is. So, I mean, I can kind of sympathize with Harry on this. It's like, why is nobody talking to me? Why is nobody filling me in on what's going on? What is happening? You know what I mean? He feels isolated, and here comes the expert himself.
I didn't say I'm an expert, but I am one heck of a nerd. Hi, Morgan. How are you?
Hello.
Megan.
I don't know. I don't think we've met because Tina doesn't introduce me to everybody.
Okay, Tracy, this is Megan. Megan, this is Tracy. Gryffindor.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you going to do a British accent too?
No, oh my goodness, no. That would be so disrespectful to our friends from across the pond, and we have so many friends.
True.
So where are we on this whole Order of the Phoenix comparative?
Well, we're still at the beginning, fairly. I'm going to send you a link, and you're gonna see what I'm looking at. This is what I'm on right now. Midway down the page. So the next thing I want to talk about is Dobby. Now, Tracy, have you seen the movies?
I have seen all the movies.
Okay. Have you read the books?
I have read all the books multiple times.
Awesome. Okay. I like this. This is something to go on. So then you would probably remember that in the books, Dobby is a very big part of this book. In the movies, he's not even featured at all.
That is correct.
Neville basically serves as the substitute for Dobby in most of his interactions. when it comes to everything.
Correct.
And the other thing is Creature's role is largely diminished too. Creature plays a really big role in this book because of the way he gives information to Narcissa Malfoy, misinforms Harry, which leads to Harry's vision from the Department of Ministries, and then the whole battle, and then Sirius's death.
Right. Actually, the producers were going to cut Creature out of the movie. And J.K. Rowling, who was involved with some of it, is what do you mean? Can I read? I can't spell, but I can read. Creature was going to actually be removed from the movie until J.K. Rowling told the producers and everybody, he's like, actually, you can't get rid of Creature because he's significant, especially in the future of the book series. So that's why they decided to keep Creature there.
Yeah. If they would have gotten rid of him, that would have been completely detrimental.
That is correct.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in future books. Megan, is there anything that you want to add?
Well, I definitely feel like if they took Creature out of the movie, that would leave a very huge plot hole, because Creature was such a big part of getting everybody there to the Ministry, and
That's right.
He plays a big part in the later movies too, and I feel like taking him out, it would not work at all.
Yeah. So I'm glad what little they left in there, they at least left itty bitty tiny living space. All right, sorry, wrong franchise. That was Genie from Aladdin, in case nobody caught that. So, okay, we're going to move on. So we're going to talk about, in the book, Sirius tells Harry about his family's history and him being disowned shortly after Harry arrived at Grimmauld Place. Before his hearing. Well, in the movie, this takes place during Christmas time. So just a bit of a time shift, I guess. Everything is still the same. I mean, what he tells Harry, gives him his family history rundown, all the logistics. It's more lengthy, I think, in the books. It just goes into a little bit more depth. So I think what they did in the movie was kind of like the Cliff Notes version. Hey, welcome in, Lisa. Good to see you. So, sorry, I was just catching up on chat. I'm easily distracted. All right, so now we're going to go to when Mr. Weasley takes Harry to the Ministry of Magic. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens. Like they change the time on him, and he doesn't find out until he's literally in the elevator. Or was it? I think the book was slightly different, actually, now that I'm thinking of it. Because I think Harry was in, that's right. So Harry's in Arthur Weasley's office and awaiting, and then he gets the word Harry's trial is now, and he comes in a hurry, I think, and gets Harry or something. And there's something else in the book, like there's a another connection that happens, and I forget what that was. Of course, my brain's running on empty at this point. But so the point is, Harry gets to his trial, and I mean, we get our first encounter of Pepto Pink. I can't even remember her name. That's how bad she is. The one we all love to hate, Professor Umbridge. That's
Dolores Umbridge.
Man, if that is a character, that is a character. Whoo, that's a character. She is. I love the actress that plays her. She's been in a lot of Jane Austen adaptations, miniseries, and movies and stuff. And so I really enjoy her acting, and I think she really killed it with this character, like perfection. So much that you hate to hate her, but you love to hate her. I don't know if that is it doesn't like. So we get Dolores Umbridge. Any big differences with her? I mean, she's pretty much the way she is. Dumbledore comes in, and I love the long name he gives, which I think he gives the long name in the book too. as well as the movie states his full name, which absolutely I love how he does it in the movie because it cracks me up because he just the way he does it just always made me laugh. It's like he knows it's a long name and um, yeah, but so okay, so he's in the trial. In the book, it's clearly stated that Amelia Bones, who's related to Susan Bones from who was in Harry's year at school, is impressed by Harry's ability to conjure Patronus. But you don't really see this in the movie, although she does vote to clear him of all the charges. You have Mrs. Fig, who, and you see Mrs. Fig in the movie. Obviously, she comes in. She's the key witness. Excuse me. No mention of her being a squib. We don't even know that she was born into a magical family. Later on, we find out that, or actually, no, it was in this part. I think she tells Harry when the Dementors attacked that she is a witch or something like that, or she's part of a wizard family. I forget. I'm getting fuzzy on the details, but I do know that she comes clean to Harry and tells him she was put there by Dumbledore to basically babysit him and watch over him. And so she gets to give her witness, and that's the story with that. Harry wins. We move on. I'm going to try to skip forward a little bit to the more significant things because otherwise we will literally be here all day talking about this book.
And I have someplace to be at 4:00.
Yeah, you do, which we'll get into after as well. So I'm going to skip down a bit. This is something that was really big for me was in the book where you see Matinee Moody shows Harry a picture of the original Order of the Phoenix from 12 Grimmauld Place. Harry doesn't react very well. And in the film, it's Sirius showing him the picture at the train station before Harry goes back to school, and Harry has a little bit of a different reaction to it. He's a little bit more happy about it. I don't know why they would switch that up. I mean, it's a joyful thing, I guess, to see your parents with their friends. But I don't know. I don't know why they would have done that, but they did, and then it is what it is.
But I don't think Matinee Mooney had much of a presence in Order of the Phoenix either.
Right.
So,
yeah. I think it was just the beginning, and that was it. Was where you really catch the. Yeah. I'm rolling my thoughts to think about that one. Yeah, that's true. All right. Now we have, let's see, So here's the other thing. So there's a lot that happens at Grimmauld Place that you don't get in the movie. You get just the basics of, here's an Order of the Phoenix. This is where we're meeting and assembling. And that's really it. But they don't show in the movies where they're cleaning up. They're making the house, they're tidying it up and making it look nice. It's Sirius's house, obviously. And the scene where Mrs. Weasley is cleaning out the chest?
The Bogart. She's cleaning out. She runs into the Bogart.
And she sees her family dead and Harry dead. And that, like, I started crying when I read that because, I couldn't imagine. She knows she was in the first battle. She knows what happened. She knows that people were lost. And it's probably all flooding back to her, and so she's getting this vision of her family dead. And
if I'm not mistaken, I think in the series of the book series itself, they say the Weasleys weren't actually part of the First Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, really?
Nope. The Weasleys weren't part of the First Order of the Phoenix. They got more instrumental in the Second Order of the Phoenix because of the relationship of the Weasleys to Harry.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's new for her. So that's why I think it takes a much more of a toll on her in the books. Okay. It's a shame that they do skip it out. But then again, you look at the size of Order of the Phoenix, you would never get all of that in. And it might have slowed the movie down a little bit. I mean, you don't even get the grandmothers yelling in the hallway, which was instrumental in the book and was passed over in the movies itself.
Right. Yeah, the portrait, right?
Right.
That when the curtain gets disturbed and she screams like a stinking banshee, and yeah, that would have been interesting if they had put that in the movies too. I would have enjoyed that. I missed who did I miss coming in? Oh my goodness, I'm so not reading chat.
Garrett.
Cargo, Garrett, and I think that's it. Welcome in, guys. Thanks for being here. So, all right, we're gonna try to chug along a little bit more down. The whole thing with Harry and Ron becoming prefects was completely left out of the movie.
Actually, it was Ron and Hermione who were made prefects, and
Thank
Harry
you.
didn't make it at all.
That's what I meant to say. I'm looking right at it too. When
See, I
said
told you I was a Harry Potter nerd.
You're showing me up, Tracy. I'm just here. You take over.
No. By all means, this is your show. I am here to enhance. And if you tell me I'm done, I'm absolutely.
No.
I will go. And I by no way am I going to try to show you up on your own stream. I'm a nerd, and sometimes I can't remember what my wife sends me for the groceries, and yet I can remember this stuff, the stupid stuff from these books that come back like that.
I will say I was not expecting you to know this much, and I'm a little or maybe a lot impressed. So this is a treat. I appreciate it, and you can show me up anytime. I'm fine with it.
No way.
So, but no, I mean, go ahead, Megan.
I love the scene where Hermione and Ron get their letters saying that they're prefects, because Harry is going through all this stuff in the book, and you see, like, in the book where he's physically, like, just getting more mad. He doesn't understand, like, why Dumbledore is leaving him out of things. And when Hermione and Ron get their prefect badges, he kind of just has this feeling through a lot of the book, actually, like, why didn't he choose me? I thought Dumbledore kind of favored me a little bit. And I like in the book how, as the book progresses, he just gets more mad at Dumbledore until finally, like, at the end, where he just snaps and he just, like, is screaming and throwing things, and we don't see it in the movies, and I love that part of the book.
Yeah.
And I think if you're watching the movies and you haven't read the book, I mean, the subtle glances that they make, Dumbledore doesn't directly look at Harry in the beginning of the movies. And I think it wasn't until like Christmas time or something to that effect that they don't really make that interconnection, and you don't see that in the movies. But the majority of people that are true Harry Potter fans and have read the book will catch those subtle glances, those subtle hints. And you're right, Megan. I think, the book, there's nothing like reading the book and knowing what's going on in Harry's mind and him just going, why? And when they made prefect, I mean, Hermione runs into the room. I think they still do it in the movie where Hermione runs into the room and sees the prefect badge in Harry's hand and misinterprets that it's Harry who was the prefect and it was actually Ron.
Yeah.
That was. I wish they didn't use that whole thing out of the movies, because I feel like that's important too. Going on, not just in this book, but the rest of the series as well. But yeah, all right. So the other thing that really bugged me was the whole thing with the Thestrals. It completely, in the book, Neville can see the Thestrals, and there's absolutely no indication of that in the movies. And not to mention that it's in the movies it's Luna who explains the Thestrals to Harry, where in the book it's Hagrid. And what else? I'm skimming here I'm going to move up a little bit. I mean, there's so many minor things that, I mean, you could nitpick about this entire thing. But so drawing a blank here. Hold on. Okay. So where the heated arguments between Professor Umbridge and Harry, where in the classroom in the Defense Against the Dark Arts class, where it's not just Harry, you also have Ron, Hermione, and Dean Thomas and Parvati Patil, who are also speaking up and not really arguing. Dean doesn't argue, but Ron uses the exact same line, says we're not going to use questions, we're not going to use magic. And Harry gets the detention, and he gets not just one detention, he gets like a whole week of detention with that stinking thing being written on his hand, which absolutely horrified me. I hated that. It just creeped me out. And then you have the whole thing with Quidditch season. They pretty much took Quidditch out of the movie, and in the book, there's still Quidditch, but Umbridge removed Harry, Fred, and George, and Ginny joined the team to replace Harry. And you don't get that in the movie. So by the time you're watching the 6th movie, you see Ginny standing up there with Harry, and you're like, well, wait, when did Ginny come on the team? And then if you didn't read the 5th book, you wouldn't know that she was put in place of Harry when Harry was taken off the team. I want to see what else. I'm trying to go in order of the book, but I'm gonna try to skim along. So another thing, Dobby being completely left out. You miss the. I love how Hermione is knitting these little hats. I think they were hats and socks, and she leaves them lying around the common room. And we learn that the house elves they come and tidy up the rooms every night when the students go to bed. And so Hermione leaving the clothing out, she's trying to free the elves, and they're all running scared and not taking the socks, and Dobby is taking all of them. And so I think Hermione is thinking in the book, she thinks that the house elves are taking the socks and the hats, and they're not. And I just thought that was absolutely hysterical, that it's Dobby that's just swiping them all to make it look like they're all taking them. That was one of the other big things. I mean, they completely left Dobby out, which I think we already talked about, and it just absolutely drove me crazy because he's such.
I also love when they talk to Dobby and he comes in and he's just wearing all of them, and Hermione is like, "You took them?" And because it just shows how Dobby is like so oblivious, but you have no choice but to love him.
Yeah.
He's just.
He cracks me up. He would have been really good for this movie. I keep saying that because I'm really bitter about it. Oh, beloved Dobby.
Dobby.
Oh, Dobby. All right, let's see. So, all right, the whole relationship thing between Harry and Cho, can we just discuss this? Because in the movie, it was literally a kissing scene and then nothing else the rest of the movie. It's like, well, what happened? Well, you have to read the book to find out. They went on a date.
They do mention it really quick. I think the separation between him and Cho comes in later in the movie than it does in the book. And I think it comes down to the fact that after her friend rats out all of Dumbledore's army, they have the scene where he pretty much breaks up with her for being friends with a girl who ratted on him, but she was coerced by using the truth serum. So, and she was sticking up for her friend who was like, hey, listen, she just messed up. And I think that's what happened between the Harry and Cho relationship. That's described in the movie, but it's so glossed over in the movie. But in the book, it's a much better natural course of things.
Yeah. I love the scene in the book where they go and they have their date and
Ron and Hermione show up.
Ron and Hermione, but the village. I was thinking about the village.
Hogsmeade.
Thank you. I was going to say honeydew because I was like, no, that's a store. Oh my gosh, my brain was just lost away. Yeah, so they're in Hogsmeade and they have their date and they find this little like coffee cafe place or something or whatever it was.
Well,
And
Megan, do you remember the name of the store that they go to? It's some kind of sweet shop, or it's like a couple's restaurant.
I can't think of it.
Oh, I have no idea. I cannot remember it.
But they
I don't know.
because it was on Valentine's Day. They had the cherubs running around, throwing around hearts and stuff like that. And I think that's and then when he mentions to Chow that they were going over to Hogshead to meet Ron and Hermione, that's when she sees that
Turned sour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of miscommunication. I think Harry needs to learn how to communicate with females that he enjoys. But I'm glad that ended. I didn't like Cho, and obviously we all know why, because Ginny was just the perfect match for Harry anyway. But that'll be next book, which I will have a lot to say about that. But yeah, so all right, we're gonna move along more. All right, so in the book, Dobby goes to the room of requirement to tell Harry. Here again, where we have no Dobby and we have Neville, who finds the room of. She just kind of stumbles on the room of requirement. I can never say this word. And Hermione is like, "Oh, good job, Neville. You found the room of requirement." And it's like Hermione doesn't know about the room of requirements in the book. And it's Dobby who tells them about the room of requirements.
Right.
When they were looking for a place to do their little Dumbledore's Army thing. Which, by the way, so Dumbledore's Army, which Ginny is the one that named it, and that's left out of the movie. That drove me crazy too. Ginny should have got that credit. A little minor detail, but still, it irked me a lot. So, and then Rita Skeeter, I think she was a big part of this book too.
Trying to remember.
I think she was writing articles about Harry and the rest of.
What Rita Skeeter, I think, was completely left out was the fact that Rita Skeeter, who was still under the rule of after he found out that she was or Hermione found out that she was an animagus or an anime guy, that it was one of those weekends. Maybe it was the weekend where he had the date and he actually gave an interview and to Rita Skeeter to be published by the Quibbler, and it was his full account of the night of Voldemort's return. Mm-hmm. So that's what set Umbridge off. And that, I think, was completely skipped out of the movie. The whole banning of the Quibbler, you can't do, you couldn't have that. And of course, once you ban something, it becomes more popular, which means everybody took it as more of the truth and started seeing a different side of Harry. And you could see this is where in the book, that's where the turn for Harry is better. I'm sorry if I'm going too much.
Go for it.
And it was left out of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, and actually, before that, gosh, you actually kind of, if you don't read the books, you really do forget all about Rita Skeeter because they leave no mention of her at all, anywhere whatsoever. I didn't even think on the rest of the series. If I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think Rita Skeeter becomes an important person in the rest of the movies at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
she's annoying.
I think they kind of just put her. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't think so. Well, I think they kind of just put her in the fourth movie for the part about when she's writing about him in the tournament, and then they kind of just forgot about her, and we haven't seen from her since in the movies.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, welcome in. Did I miss anybody else? Okay, what is going on here? Olive Garden, Sonic. Why are we talking about food? Cheap date. Okay. Yeah, Yeah, they went to Olive Garden. Oh
I went to Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
I can't remember. I really wish I could remember the name of that restaurant they go to, but
It's bothering me now. I'm gonna Google it.
they're going to Google it.
Yeah.
It's but it was like the makeout place.
The makeout place. That would be funny if they wouldn't name it that, but and
There she goes. Google. Google's your friend.
seriously, let's see. No, I don't want fast restaurants at Magic Kingdom. Where did that come from?
I'm
Oh my
trying to think.
goodness.
Do I have the books here? Because I usually have something somewhere.
Yeah, I could go grab mine. Well, yeah, movie restaurants that you can go eat. No. Places in Harry Potter. No. Okay, this is not telling me anything. Yeah, this that is to go grab a book. All right, we'll move on. We'll come back to that. Of course. If you're watching the replay and we haven't said the answer, type it in the comments, please. Okay, so let's move on. Then we have, oh gosh, the thing that really bothered me, Dumbledore's escape when they were coming to take him to Azkaban, or wherever they were taking, they were removing him.
Oh, that would have been awesome if that was in the movie.
Could you imagine? Like, I have this whole scene in my head of it all going down, and then I watch, I get the movie, and the movie version was just like, oh, so mediocre. So disappointing. But yeah, so he's aided by Kingsley Shacklebolt, which I love saying his name. I could probably say his name all day. Who alters Marietta's memories and knocks out everyone in the room except for Harry and McGonagall. And the line, Minister, I disagree with Dumbledore on several points, but you can't deny he's got style, is said by Phineas Black, not said by Kingsley like it is in the movies.
Right.
Still a great line, though, just wrong person, which is fine. I get it. Switch things up and confuse the heck out of us. Why not?
All right, I found it. It's Madam Pattyfoots.
That's right, Madam Pattyfoot.
That's the name of the shop. Actually, it is in the movies, but they never actually use it.
Right.
And that's another character that they didn't bring. They didn't bring in the Order of Phoenix at all. Was Phineas Black.
Yeah.
Because in the book it's important because there's that conversation, and in the future you find out that's how Dumbledore was keeping an eye out on Harry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Snape was keeping an eye out for Harry in the future too. So, and then again, it's completely left out of the movie, which I could see for runtime, and it kind of slows down a little bit, and a little explanation that probably didn't need to go there, but yes.
Well, because there's another portrait of Phineas in Grove Place.
Correct.
And he can go back and forth between the two portraits.
And it wasn't until they go to the Christmas scene and to the Christmas part in the book where Dumbledore sends one of the other headmasters to St. Mungo's to tell him to prepare for somebody, that he realizes that headmasters can switch between portraits.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, that's right, because and I forgot about that too. And that leads into the other thing that really bothers me is St. Mungo's is where Neville's parents are. They're in like the psychiatric ward or something, and they're in one of the parts of the hospital. And when they go to visit Arthur Weasley after he's attacked, they run into Neville and his grandmother, and they get that whole full picture of Neville's parents. Also running into...
They run into Gilderoy Lockhart.
Thank you. Who's lost his memory from the second book, which I love that. I love the imagery of the whole scene too. And then the other thing is wasn't it oh goodness gracious. You have there was a package I think that was sent and one of the nurses was killed or something like that.
That was Devil Snare was sent to somebody, which killed the patient.
Yep.
That was from that's a callback from the first book in the first movie, Devil Snare, which was even in the first movie was handled poorly. Devil Snare, and yes, and in the movies you never see Saint Mungo's, which is a disappointment.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to take away from your guest, Megan. I feel really bad that I came on and then my wife told me before I came in here, she goes, "Don't interrupt the girl." She didn't care about me interrupting Tina, but she said, "Don't interrupt Megan."
No, you're fine. This is good conversation. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, you're fine.
But I wanted to chat real quick. Welcome in Mike Wheeler and the Mosquitoes. I'm just Mike Wheeler and the Mosquito Brigade. If there was ever a band name, that would be it. That's a throwback to one of Danny Griswold Family Vacay streams, which I'm not going to get into. You had to be there. But it was absolutely hysterical. Anyways. Yeah, all right, back to Harry Potter before I really get off track here, because you know how easy it is for me to do that. So I'm going to scroll down. Oh, gosh. The Weasley twins. Oh, my goodness. So I really love how they did this in the movies. In the book, lasts a little bit longer, or a lot longer. And a lot of things are going on all around the school. So they're taking their owls. It's not really Umbridge who's at the front of the class. It's different teachers that are doing the different classes, I think, is what it is. And while this is happening, Harry is trying to use the Flu Network in Umbridge's office to talk to Sirius and Lupin. And Fred and George Weasley, the famous portable swamp is omitted from the film. I forgot all about the swamp. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about the Weasley twins with that scene, because they absolutely overdid it. They just outdid themselves.
Because this was their last year.
Yeah.
This was year 7, so they were actually leaving.
Yep.
And they had enough money from Harry's winnings to start their own business.
Right. And they literally went out with a bang.
With a bang.
Legit. And I love that. I love the Weasley twins. I just absolutely adore them.
That is one of my favorite scenes with the Weasley twins in it. It was amazing the way they told off Umbridge, and they told Peeves to just keep agitating her. That scene was so amazing, and I loved that scene with them.
Yeah.
In the book, because Peeves never makes it to any of the movies. Unfortunately.
I know. I hated that.
I'm still salty about that one too.
He makes it into the video games, but he never makes it into the movies themselves.
I mean, how do you do that? How do you put him into the video games but leave him completely out of the movie? It just makes no sense to me at all. Whatsoever. I don't know. All right, so I'm looking at the time, and I'm just going to attempt to wrap things up here. We have, you have the scenes where, so before the Department of Ministry, you have, where I lost my place here, where Cornelius Fudge and the R's and Dolores Umbridge try to take Hagrid away, and as a result, Professor McGonagall gets hit by 4 stunning spells and gets taken to St. Mungo's.
Yeah.
That whole thing left out of the movie. It's all that good stuff.
And I think this is the years that they're taking their owls, right?
Yep.
And I don't think the owls were really prevalent in the movies itself.
No.
The stressfulness of taking the owls in the movies weren't there.
Right.
That was that was, I can see that, because the majority of the audience is going to be American audience, even though it was filmed in Britain. I think most Americans don't understand that by year 5 in most of British schools, they have an idea of where they're going to want to go in the future.
Yeah.
So like they have like that whole, it's not as easy as wait till you get to college to figure out where you're going. Like they start early.
Right. Yeah. The lost my train of thought. Oh,
I'm
God.
sorry.
Squirrel. No. I just lost my train of thought just because I lost it. All right. I'm gonna move on to the end of the book. We're gonna scoot along. My brain is just like, what in the world?
It is one of the biggest books. I mean, I think Order of the Phoenix is the largest book in the series.
It honestly, I should have just split the book into 2 weeks, and finish it up next week and then did trivia. But we're near the end anyway, so, so moving towards the end, you have the whole thing where Creature tricks Harry into thinking that Sirius is in the Ministry, which prompts the whole getting to, the Department of Mysteries. That whole thing in the movie they really shortened. In the books, there's like all these doors, and there's this room where they're surrounded by doors, and I think it's like you got to figure out which one to get to where or something like that. Super confusing in the books. Probably why they left it out of the movies is my guess, because it was so intricate and descriptive. Yeah, it was descriptive, but it's like trying to wrap my head around this room and that room, and then this place and that place, and then the archway and all that stuff. And I could see why they shortened it in the movie.
I can see too. It makes sense to shorten it in the movie because it would have complicated, especially considering how long it was.
Exactly.
Megan?
Yep.
Yeah, and I definitely think that if it was in the movie, it would have been a bit too confusing. So I definitely see why they left that part out.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to hit about the one biggest controversial difference between the book and the movie?
Why don't you tell us what that is, Tracy?
What do you think it would be, Tina?
Gosh.
Or Megan?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
In the book, how does Sirius Black die? Which made my wife cry, by the way.
Okay.
I'll throw her in there. In the book, Sirius dies by a stunning spell. He gets stunned and falls through the veil.
Yeah.
In the movie, he actually gets hit with a killing spell and falls and then his spirit flies out into the veil. So in the book, Harry has that hard time to comprehend because in his mind at that point in time, Sirius was just stunned and he was going to walk back through that veil in a matter of a couple minutes after being unstunned.
Yep.
In the movie, it's pretty much explained flat out. It was a killing curse, done, and he's dead. There was no whole, and they couldn't get to that whole acceptance of Harry. How does Harry accept that?
Yeah, and then I think, at the end of the book, I think he even questions Dumbledore about, can they come back as a portrait or can they come back as a ghost or something like that? He wants to know.
Did.
He hope that Sirius will come back as something, ghost, whatever.
He did also talk to Nearly Headless Nick in the book and asked him if it was possible for him to come back, and Nearly Headless Nick basically told him that before they die, it kind of has to be a thing of they not ready to leave, and basically him just finding any way for Sirius to get back to him.
Yeah.
And the discovery of the mirror and realizing that Harry had a way to talk to Sirius, and then realizing that he put Sirius and everybody. So in the book, he feels a lot worse of what happened at the Ministry than what he does when you see in the movie. Because in the book, you get the whole idea that he had a way to contact Sirius that outside of all normal, and he never even thought about using it.
Yeah.
He had the mirror from Beauty and the Beast. That's what it was.
That's nice. It doesn't rhyme with that. That absolutely kills me. It's like all this time. Oh, that broke me. That, yeah. Okay. Um. Oh, the other thing that So then we have the infamous scene Dumbledore appears. Um, in the book, Harry frees himself from Dumbledore. Oh boy, from Voldemort's possession due to his grief over his grandfather's death. But in the film, he frees himself from Voldemort's possession due to the strong love he feels for his friends in Sirius.
Right.
So slight difference, gets the same point across, I guess. Um, in the book, Harry does loses his temper with Dumbledore after Sirius's death and smashes his possessions, which did not happen in the film. Dumbledore also explains about the prophecy and shows Harry his memory of Trelawney making the prophecy. So that probably would have been really good to show in the movies, so that you get that understanding of the prophecy that was said about.
Right, and it also would also put out there that there was two kids that could have been Voldemort's equal, and Voldemort picked the half blood instead of the full blood because it was going to Dumbledore in the book explains it was going to be either Neville or Harry, and Voldemort chose his own rival,
Right.
which and then you don't realize that, and like Harry gets and Neville finally gets his due at the end of the books and at the end of the movies, and it just goes to show you that now Harry starts looking at Neville a little differently. Like he could have been Neville, and Neville could have been him, and that now it totally changes his view of Neville.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that might have changed my view if I was not an avid reader and watching the movie, knowing that there could have been one of the other, and he chose one. And, then you wouldn't feel so bad for Neville, even though the kid turned out pretty cool in the long run. But,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I love that. Yeah, I love Neville. I always say, oh, Neville's one of my favorite characters. I probably say that about all the characters because there's something so unique and different about all of them. So there's just, and I love that. I love that connection between Harry and Neville. But excuse me. Okay, wrapping this up. So the last thing, that we have, you get to see Draco Malfoy's newfound hatred for Harry due to his father's arrest, which has been omitted. So the scene where Harry tries to curse Malfoy, Snape takes 10 points from Gryffindor. McGonagall returns to Hogwarts and awards Gryffindor 250 points and Ravenclaw 50 points for the battle in the Department of Ministries, which is also omitted, not omitted. And then Draco's attempt to attack Harry on the Hogwarts Express with Crabbe and Goyle to get revenge for their father's arrests, only to be stopped by the members of Dumbledore's army, is also omitted. That would have been a really great part to add towards the ending, to see that friendship that they have gained even after the battle, just to see how much stronger that they have grown. And that's really all I have to say, and I said a lot, so I don't know about you guys.
Well, I feel bad that I came on, and Megan, you didn't seem like I don't want to take anything from you. You
didn't.
I am a serious.
I appreciate the input.
I am such a serious nerd. Billy's favorite character is Sirius Black. So
nice. He's a good character. He's an amazing character, actually. Tracy, I was not expecting that from you. This was a treat. I
can surprise you all.
Seriously, had I had known, yeah. So, oh man. Okay. All right. It's 3:10. Let's wrap this up. I think there's a couple of live streamers. We got Nerd Talk at 4:00. Tracy, you want to throw your link in the chat?
I think Mike Wheeler's already thrown it in.
Perfect.
I set it up while I was watching Amy, right, and trying to answer questions and set up my nerd talk at the same time.
Multitasking at its finest. All right, so guys, 4 o'clock is Nerd Talk on Tracy Glenn's channel. They're going to be talking what?
We are talking Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
That's right. Which I think is my favorite over the first one. Is that? Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go check out Nerd Talk, 4 o'clock. I think Carlos Disney World Freak is live now doing some Legos. Oh, there's everything. I want to thank Dean at the Live Place, www.theliveplace.com, for hosting us. Always a treat. Dean is amazing. Go check him out. It's your YouTube guide for all your family-friendly live streamers, and it's just phenomenal. Come back and see me Wednesday, 5 o'clock. Nope, before that, yeah. Tuesday, 11 a.m. with Mama Mouse on Myers and the Mouse channel. And we're going to be talking Sherlock and Study in Pink and A Study in Scarlet, Not a Study in Pink, that Sherlock TV show. This is your fault, Tracy. And
she didn't realize how much of a nerd I truly am.
Man, I'm still in shock at this, and so I'm all out of sorts. So Wednesday, 5 o'clock for Wednesday Whateverness, we're going to be talking 30 songs that.
Oh, all Beatles songs, right?
Not all Beatles songs. I'm sorry. There may be one, maybe one. We'll see. But yeah, so Wednesday, 5 o'clock, and Megan, I know you don't have a channel, but
No.
one. Tracy, what do you got coming up besides Nerd Talk at 4?
Nerd Talk at 4. I'll be modding for Kenzie Days tomorrow at 4:30. I will always promote her, so you know. And then myself, I'll be on 4 o'clock with the Not Wasting Time or hashtag the Dreaming with the Mouse warm-up hour. And I haven't figured out what I'm doing there yet. And I have, every once in a while, I have guests. And I do my best when I'm actually interacting with people. Because either I can make a fool of myself or even make myself look like a bigger fool. So always check me out. I'm a bit of a quirk, I guess I would say.
That's all right. It works. All right, guys. You heard it here. Go check out all the things. Thank you for watching today. Next week, we're going to do Harry Potter trivia, Order of the Phoenix. Come prepared. I do have prizes. I will show you what those prizes are going to be. I'm adding up all the points and calculating. I'm going to do a point count to see who's in the lead for next week. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So until then, I'll see you. I don't know how to word this yet. I'll be seeing you from the second star to the right and straight on till morning. And I'm going to word that better next time, I promise. All right. See you guys later.